lovelies, welcome to another episode of McCool Media TV, whereby in today's episode I'm going to do a bit of a review stroke how-to tutorial to get started with a Stream Deck if you've never used one before. And as you can see, I'm all laid out ready to go, so this is going to be a good one. So if you haven't already watched or seen any of my videos, I do go live across various different social media networks. This little gadget and tool is like, I'm so excited to be talking to you guys today about it. So do stay tuned, stay notified, do support me on my social media. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the stand and the deck itself. Now, if you don't know what a Stream Deck is, I'm just about to grab my mobile phone and I haven't tested it. So hopefully this is going to go all right for me. I should have tested this before I went live. I've just realized. Okay, give us 30 seconds just to tweak the screen a little bit here because I've just realized I want to lock that one out of place. And we've got my Zoom display here because I was rushing to get started this morning. I've just realized I've set it up, but I've not tested it, which is a bit of a doozy for me. So let's have a look. Right, so you can just see out the corner. I haven't got it set up properly today, but you can just see enough just to see my Stream Deck down here. Okay, so I'm just going to bring it into view just there. Right, so as you can see, this is a cool little gadget and it's a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. And it's a nice little gadget that is easily detachable, as it were. And it's got these little pads at the back that basically sit really nicely onto this platform that basically can have lots of different height adjusters. Now I'm going to put this all back because I'm actually going to be using this live in today's video, and it's basically what controls all, like as you can see now on screen. I'm going to hit the desk. There we go, my digital SLR is my main webcam, and everything goes back to normal. So there you go. This is basically what it's all about. Now, there is lots of ways to program this, and I'm going to be showing you that in today's video. Okay, so let's take a look first of all at the Stream Deck itself. So what we've got going on over here, if we look in the very top left hand corner, we've got a menu where we can add in lots of different tools and features as a quick access menu, as it were. So the ones that we've got blue ticked here are the ones that I am actually using that are available at the moment. So that's these four menus. Over on the left hand side on the main section up here is the buttons that I've actually got programmed. So this is a live view right now of everything that's going on my Stream Deck. So all of these are multi-action buttons, which I will explain in a minute. And this one here is a folder for when I do my 4 networking events on a Thursday here in the UK, across the UK. So as you can see, it's a folder, and I've got a couple of little shout outs to what's happening in August, what's happening in September, and to come to the next meeting. So just little pop-ups there. Now, this one here is the button that we're going to kind of replicate today in today's tutorial. We are going to basically rebuild this in this position just here, the second button in on the first row. I'm just going to move my little picture up just a tad so I'm not covering the screen so much. There we go. And so we're going to get started with that right now. So if I come over to my main center monitor, okay, ignore everything that's going on the left hand side because this is my StreamYard broadcast to you guys right now. We don't need to worry about that. What we have got going on up here on the right hand side is my OBS Studio, and as you can see down here I've got a variety of different scenes, and then inside those scenes I've got different sources. So one of the scenes, if you sometimes think of a scene as like a folder that you can embed, essentially that is what's going on over here on the left hand side. So I've just realized real quick, I've just touched on the menus, and now I'm going to talk to you about the buttons themselves and multi-actions in a second. So let's bring that back down. Okay. So, right, what we have here is the YouTube subscribe pop-up. Now, if I click on that, everything's going to go black because it's literally designing the pop-up. And in this scene, we have 2 sources. So these are like assets. I've got one is a sound effect, which when I hide it and then play it, it will play the little jingle. And the other one is the image itself. So what I've got is a scene that basically has these 2 assets loaded in and set to visible. I've just locked them out so I can't accidentally move them around on screen or accidentally fiddle with the volume. But now that I've got this scene, this little pop-up created, it means that I can add it to any other and nest it in any other broadcast. So as you can see, let's go back to my left-hand monitor. As you can see up here, this is what this button does. Okay, now if I click it on my little, let's see if we can just show you guys. Bear with me just 1 second. Okay, so this is the button here. You can see it's a bit reflective because of the light, but if I push this, that's how it's programmed in. So when I'm talking, when you're holding a conversation, it can be quite sort of disorientating when you've got lots of things going on, you're in mid-flow and you're trying to get your thoughts out there. Hold the conversation with the camera, your audience, but you've got all of these like mechanisms that you want to do to give the experience over. It's worth then planning and using a Stream Deck. I find it a lot easier than using my hotkeys for OBS. So how do we go about making this button? Well, first of all, we're going to select the location we want it to live on our Stream Deck. Then if we come over to Stream Deck itself, as all the different tools and functionalities, we've got one here called a multi-action, and I'm just going to literally drag it and drop it. Now what's happened is it's now, if I go back up, it's now basically put this action, that's the symbol for it, in that button placeholder, and we can click on it. Now this is empty because we've not done anything with it yet. So this is where we get to customize our button. Now if I just come out one step and then go into the button that's already designed so I can show you. Down here, before we actually go into the button mechanisms itself, we get to name the button. It will give us a summary of what actions are involved, and then we can design the button interface itself. So let's just do that right now. So this is like my test Popup YouTube button, okay, because I'll delete it later. Okay, so first of all, what we can do, oh, she says, we can basically change the style of the text. So down here we can show the title, and as you can see it's now disappeared from the button, or we can remake it appear. At the moment the text is going off the edge, so if I come into my little title screen and basically hold down the shift key and return, I can now wrap that text so it makes it a lot neater on the screen. If I click back on that T, I can basically change the size of the font, which means it's going to squeeze itself too big. I can change the type of text that we use. So there we go, that's quite horrid, isn't it? Let's have a look. Impact, there we go, let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay, again, that's quite horrid, but you can see it quite nicely. We can position the text at the top, the middle, or the bottom of the button. They're always center aligned, and we can change the text color if we wanted to. I'm just picking something at random. So this is how we actually get to display or design the button text. Now I'm going to remove the text because, as you can see, we've got nothing going on over here. If we go over to the button itself, there's a tiny little drop down arrow, and in here we can create a new icon from scratch, at which point when we open up the browser, let me just turn my little porthole off a minute. Okay, wait for it to load. Oh, it's not too bad. Let me just move myself slightly to the edge for a minute, just slightly. Okay, what we can do here is basically pick a design. So as you can see, there's the YouTube one already in play. Looking down here, we could have had like a regular play button. We can upload our own images, which is what I've done with the 4N one. So we could, let's have a look, pick something like this if we wanted to. And then what we can do is we can color it as well. So we can still add text at this stage if we want to. We can add a background image. We can change the color or make it a solid color. So let's go back and put that in there. Where's it gone? I've lost it completely. Oh, let's pick a different one for a minute. Let's do that, and then we can give it like a kind of a graduated effect as well. So as we go down here, you can see that this is the button that I originally picked. I've given it a graduated effect. That shows the button exactly as it was on my system. I mean, you've got things like your Facebook, your Pinterest, so you can actually program this to go and jump straight to Twitter if you wanted to. There's another YouTube button, and as you look on the left-hand side, all of these different assets are being layered over the top of each other, so we can delete some of these, as it were. There we go, and I'm going to go with this one because I've only just discovered it exists. Yeah, I think I will just leave it as it is for now. I think we could relayer the bottom, and we can put that in there and make it red. There's the colour. Okay, let's make it red like the YouTube one. Okay, and then we're going to realign these images. There we go. So we could make it just a tiny bit smaller. Oops, she says, I don't know if I can get hold of the handle. Ah, come on, grab hold of the handle. There we go, a little bit smaller. And everything's now lined up nicely. Okay, there we go. So this is our YouTube button. We could put YouTube down the bottom there. So I could put YouTube, there we go. There's the font. We could choose the font here. Amaranth, I don't know if that's going to, oh, that's quite horrid as well. But there we go. Let's have a look. Right, and click to edit. There we go. Why aren't you letting me select the text? There we go. Just being fiddly today. YouTube. Right. Okay. Let's come off of that and select something else. Okay, so we're going to put it in the middle. There we go. There's my new button design, and then I'll give it the shadow effect. Okay, right. So now we've got the button. I can save it, and it's going to put it up here in my downloads folder. So let me just bring this back onto the screen for you. Let me just move it so you can see it. So you need to know where it goes. There we go. There's my downloads folder in my downloads. Stream Deck key. And I know where to find it. Obviously, cut up and paste this. I've got a little Stream Deck folder set up in my lives somewhere around here as my marketing and my lives. And there's my Stream Deck assets. So there we go. So this is where I save it. Now, this is one important thing to bear in mind. Let me just put myself back on the screen a bit better there. Okay, so one of the things that you really do need to bear in mind here is that the folder location, these are like kind of static. So if you set this all up now and then change one of the parent folders, the path to that asset will be lost. And so the whole benefit that you're trying to gain will be lost, and you'll have to sort of connect that whole path through by reselecting the asset and going through everything again. So just make sure that when you're doing this, everything that you save everywhere on your computer is named the way you want it to be, because it will screw you up otherwise. So as this is just a quick test one, let me close these screens. We're going to go back now, and we know it's in my downloads folder, so I'm going to select it from a file. It's going to pop up. It's in my downloads. There it is. So I'm just going to click on open, and there we go. And as you can see, it's instantly populated this position on my Stream Deck. Now, it doesn't do anything at the moment because we've not given it any commands. All we've told Stream Deck is that it's going to be one of the multi-action functions. And the reason it needs to be a multi-action function is because we are basically going to pull in the visual PNG file. We're going to pull in the actual sound effect, and then from there we're going to hold it on screen for a 4 or 5 second delay, and then we're going to literally turn off those two assets. So there's going to be 5 commands in programming this button by the time we have got this finished. So I am going to start by going up to OBS Studio, and I'm going to bring in a source. Now I'm going to literally drag it left from right to left, and then down the bottom here it's going to give me those source commands. It's instantly activated, which is great, and it's already selected my main broadcast, which is where we are talking live from at the moment. But what we need to do down the bottom here is we do need to make sure that we have selected the correct asset, as it were. So I'm just looking at what we've got going on, making sure we have got this correct. So there we go. We're going to activate this asset. Let me just come back out before I go too far. I've only got 3 here. Let me just see what I've done. Okay, right. So the reason we've got it as, I forgot that this is what we were doing. Sorry, this is my bad. So as we have made, let me just show you over here, we've got this actual scene. We're bringing in the scene itself. That's my bad. I didn't mean to confuse you. I've just literally done this and changed my mind on how I was going to teach this feature. So coming back over here, I'm going to correct myself by saying we're only going to be adding 3 functions to this button. First of all, we've got the source. It's basically going to activate, which is going to show the little hidden icon there. So when basically we're going to turn this icon to visible. That's what the active button down here on the left hand side means. And we've selected what's broadcast we're in, and obviously what asset. Then we are going to come down to the Stream Deck and drag over the delay, because we want this to be on screen for about 4 or 5 seconds. So I'm going to do 4 seconds. Remember, this is in milliseconds, so that's 4,000. If it was going to be half a second, it was going to be 500. If it was going to be 10 seconds, that will be 10,000. So just don't get confused there, because otherwise it will pop up so quick that your eyes won't even have a chance to focus on it, and then it will have disappeared. Then we are going to go back up to OBS Studio, and I'm literally just going to bring in this source again, but this time we're going to set it to deactivate, which is basically going to then hide the subscribe button, and that is actually it, job done. So what we're going to do is we're just going to come out of Stream Deck now so that you can see all of the buttons up here, and I'm just going to go back to my my digital camera so that you can see it in play. So bear with me just 1 second. And I do apologize. Let me just pop this round. Give me 30 seconds, guys, because this is bugging me. I just want to be able to show you a bit more of the screen. And I think what it is I have set things up in a slightly different way to normal because I was rushing today. So I just need, this is basically how you set up your assets, by the way, if you haven't kind of figured it out already. So let me just, oops, she said missing the button. There we go. And there we go. This is a little bit easier for me to do and control now for you. So here is my Stream Deck. Let's bring it back down over here. Right. Okay, so here is my Stream Deck. This is the button that we have just programmed. Not necessarily the clearest because we've got the sunlight coming in from the window. Let me see if I can, it's not really making a difference, but you've got the reflection because these are nice shiny buttons. So I do apologize for the reflection, but when I click on it, there we go, that our subscribe button has taken place. So now let's quickly, now that you've seen it in action and we know that it works, what I'm going to do is let's go back to my actual OBS actually, and I'm going to just talk to you about this effect in here. So what we've got going on, if I show you these actual buttons down here, what I've done is for the image, obviously I've selected an image and I've already found this image. So that's why it's showing as an existing, but you would click on OK, literally browse. Oh, I'm just realizing you're not seeing my screen properly. Bear with me just 1 second, guys. Sorry, bear with me a second. Is it going to show you? Come on. 2 seconds, sorry. Right. I've just realized that I can't actually navigate away and you can see what's going on. So let's just do it from down here in this main window. So all I've done is effectively select that option there, which is my scene that I can then nest in every other broadcast that I want. Okay, so when it's selected in my scene, we can click on image. I've already got it selected. So essentially I would go look for it now on my computer, find where it is I keep my images. As I said to you, I've got a dedicated folder and I cannot change any of the names or paths. So let me just, why is this like this? Let's see if we can see large icons and move them over. So you can see here that I've got, this is how I've created my porthole that you can see me in, my round circle. This is a masked image. I will show you this another day. This is me playing with some background images for text, but this is my button. I'm going to click on OK. This is the size of it. You can see just in the background up here, it's like huge. And then all I've done is basically dragged it to the size I want it to be and positioned it on screen. So that's how that works there. So let's discard all of this, discard, and we're just going to get rid of my image because I don't want to mess up my broadcast. Okay, and then it's exactly the same thing for my asset. Now what I will do is I'll quickly take you over to Envato, because Envato is the stock library source that I use for getting all of my assets. Now I started using this company as a result of basically building a mobile app game, and I needed some 3D images, and that's when I discovered this awesome resource. And they do things like sound effects, and then as you can see down there, they have game sounds, and basically I've got a stock library license, so I can pretty much find anything I want on here and I can just download it. Once I have it downloaded, like this one for example, I could use that. Once I have it downloaded, again, it just becomes another source that I can use. So if we come back over to my screen here, once I've downloaded it, it's probably a WAV file. We basically go and find it. So this time it's going to be a media source. As you can see, I've already added it in there. That's my notification sound effect. And you can see here that these are all of my background musics when I got those going. So for example, I haven't got it turned on at the moment. And then we just basically go find the source. So there's my little bell. Oh, actually, we could use a bell. I think that's the notification that I've been using. If, like with my background music, I want to loop it, I can do so. But when I'm done and I'm happy and I've checked everything out and the speed that it's all going to play out and everything is hunky dory, I click on OK, and then it is added to my system. Now, what we do need to do is come into the media source. So I haven't really named it. So let me just give it a quick name. So I'm going to call this bell. Okay, because I don't think I've added it as it happens anyway. When we come into the settings for the bell, we go down to advanced audio. What I actually need to do, as you can see here, is I need to turn it so that the monitor and output is both working. And I'm going to click on close. And now when I hide it and then show it, hopefully it works. There we go. So what I could do now is have another notification or different sound that plays with my bell instead. So I can't obviously drag it into this and set it up on the button because of the fact that you guys won't see what's going on. But essentially, that is how you bring in an asset. So that's pretty much the whole process, to be honest with you, for today. It is quite simple and easy to do once you know how. It's quite hard to actually explain this live, I have to be honest, because there's lots of things going on. I've got a comment coming up here. Thank you very much. I've got a comment from Escort PWR05, amazing stuff, really helpful. I'm glad you think so. Thank you very much. That's a comment that's come in from my YouTube. And it just means a little bit that what I'm doing is actually resonating with you guys and you like it. So thank you very much indeed for giving me that little live comment there as well. So that's kind of it from me today. This, as you can see here, is how I organize my broadcast. So I'm just going to bring it to a close right now. Let me bring me back on screen. Thank you very much for watching. I know it's been a bit of a longer one today, and but I really do hope you get some use and benefit out of these little live broadcasts that I do. So if you haven't already, there we go, it's in action. Please subscribe, stay notified, support my channel. I do everything that I do out of passion and love. This was McCall Media TV. I am Angela McCall. I've had a blast. Thank you so much for watching and all your support, and I will see you on another video real soon.